The official handover of the SA Agulhas marks the transition of the vessel to new international ownership, JS Maritime. The research vessel is integral to the country's maritime education and research. Authorities say the sale of the vessel is part of its commitment to sustainable maritime development and job creation. SAMSA is hosting the launch of the Seafarer Employment and Development Program and the farewell to the Agulhas Vessel. SABC News reporter Vanessa Poonah is on the story for us. Vanessa, thank you for your time. So what does the handing over of the vessel mean?
Yes, good morning to you. Before we go there, let me just tell you that there's quite a bit of fanfare happening. Of course, the Navy band behind us keeping guests here enthralled on the SA Agulhas. And I'm going to speak to Mr. Sabantu Tilai. He's, of course, the COO of the SAMSA, the South African Maritime Safety Authority. I'm bringing him in now. Mr. Tilai, a very warm good morning to you. Not quite a bittersweet day, I think, because as we've heard, the SA Agulhas will remain in South Africa, will remain in Cape Town, and of course will keep sailing under the South African flag. But of course, in terms of the significance of this handing over ceremony, what exactly does it mean and entail for maritime, for SAMSA, as well as for training, the continued training of maritime cadets?
Thank you and good morning to your viewers. Of course, it is a very significant day for the training and development of seafarer skills. We had come to the end of the life of the Agulhas. That is the reason that SAMSA took a decision to enter into this partnership by disposing and transferring the vessel. But the importance of it comes in that we then, as part of that deal, are going to be training, not only training, but also employing South African seafarers on board the vessels that are related to our German partners.
So you spoke to the CEO of JS Maritime earlier on, and he was talking about increasing the number of cadets receiving training. You've been in possession of the SA Agulhas since, 2012. Can you give us an indication as to how many seafarers you have trained, and also what kind of training is provided on a research polar vessel such as this one?
We've trained a lot of numbers, but you must remember we were always limited by the ship we would generally charter out, so you would have scientists on board and others. She's got the capacity to carry 97 in total. But let's say you've got a good number of scientists, then you would take away the number of beds that you would have. And this was always the limitation. So we've trained upwards of 200 cadets over the years. But this is going to change because JS Maritime Partners have got other relationships with other German vessels. And it is in that way that you're going to get employment of those cadets. So they are not going to necessarily be placed on this ship, but they're going to be enabled by this partnership to be placed on other vessels that are linked to the partnership.
We know that the SA Agulhas served South Africa as its polar vessel as well as a research vessel for over 40 years. We know that, I think in the background there is that the SA Agulhas too, as he's standing berthed over there. But also in terms of the function that it has served over the past few years, of course, in your possession for over 10 years or so. What happens in terms of South Africa's SANA programs, and that of course continues?
Of course, remember, we got the ship when it was retired out of the SANA program because the country went and purchased the new Agulhas. And that is the time that we took the old Agulhas. Thank you to Environmental Affairs for giving her to us. That is the time we then went and repurposed it. She had reached the end of her life. And that is the reason now even the engines are no longer supportable. So that is why then we said if we sell it to JS Maritime Partners, they're going to re-engine the ships, and that is what the captain was talking about. So the South African Antarctica program and the research program in general continues under the banner of Environmental Affairs, DFFE. We are charged with training, and we thought to elongate the value that we got out of this ship, we are going to then give it to the maritime partners so that we can access the broader German fleet in which to employ our seafarers.
I'm going to let you go in just a second. I know that you're itching to get started with this program. In terms of the memorandum of understanding or agreement that will be signed later on this morning, what exactly does that entail?
Well, the conditions that SAMSA attached to disposing of the vessel was not one. It must give us the value that we got out of this ship, which is the training, and we got more because we've got employment on top of the training. It was that the ship remains in South Africa and she will remain in South Africa. It was also that the new owner takes all the old staff that were used to work on the ship, and they've done exactly that. Not only that, they've then given the ability, the ship will reside in Cape Town, so she'll be fixed in Cape Town, take stores in Cape Town. So there's quite a bit of economic value that is linked to the partnership. This is over and above the fact that part of the deal is that whenever she undertakes all those science expeditions, we have the ability to place South African scientists on board, and we have the ability to access some of that research information for our purposes.
Mr. Sabanta Tilai, thank you so much for your time. Of course, the CEO of SAMSA just talking to us ahead of the official handing over ceremony, which is due to take place here in the next few minutes aboard the SA Agulhas at Key 500 in Cape Town.